What is going on, guys? It's Matt here for the second time today. And as I was recording my thoughts on the interactive world merge, Nexon decided to drop a Maple Memo. INKWELL? INKWELL nowhere to be found. But we got a Maple Memo addressing the version 260 and 261 issues. So for this one, I am probably going to have to read it, and then we'll talk about it. I'll give my thoughts on, what needs to be said, but let's just jump right into it. Hello, Maplers. First and foremost, we'd like to extend our deepest apologies for the various problems and major gameplay disruptions caused by live server maintenance recently. Maintenances, plural. Starting off with an apology, of course. While we've made extensive efforts, to provide a large amount of content to enjoy throughout the summer, the overall stability fell short of expectations. Internally, we have been reflecting on this matter and are preparing systematic measures to prevent similar issues in the future. Good. Addressing their faults and telling us what they're going to be doing moving forward. We also acknowledge that our communication has not been sufficient, you think? We had intended to share a message sooner, but ongoing issues required our immediate attention. We prioritized resolving the issues and planned to provide a comprehensive update once stability had been restored, rather than causing confusion with frequent partial updates. Fortunately, this led to a long silence, and we apologize for the delay. We're kind of used to very long silences, but if we get updates more frequently, that would be nice. This memo will address the various issues that have taken place and our responses to them. I'll be very critical about responses, that's for sure. We are aware that a single message may not be enough to address every concern. Nevertheless, though delayed, we believe it is important to speak openly and provide context regarding the decisions we made and the responses we took at the time. We hope this will alleviate some of the inconvenience you have experienced. To begin, we would like to address the following issues that arose after the version 260 and 261 updates. Alright. Oh, nice. And they're breaking it down into parts, so I guess that'll make it easier for like maybe the video and timestamps. Emergency maintenance following the version 260 update. Shortly after the version 260 Stargazer update went live, we found a serious error that allowed certain items to be duplicated in select situations. I believe they're talking about potion pot, and then like either looting potions or feeding it into it, and then it causing like duplicating, and then people were just making like a massive amounts of meso. We quickly took the servers offline to conduct emergency maintenance and successfully resolved the root of the issue. However, due to the duplicated items and mesos already in circulation, we determined that the issue could significantly impact game balance and required a full-scale response. So I guess this means that like it was severe enough to have to just like take the game down. I mean, whenever there's like a dupe in the game, you have to take the game down as soon as possible. But I guess it really just means that like a lot of people kind of ended up doing it. When the servers went offline, we conducted a thorough analysis, identified the source of the problem, resolved it, and implemented additional quality assurance for safety. All these steps were done in real time and ended up taking longer than expected. Yeah, I think it was like an extra like 24 hours of maintenance or something like that. The version 260 update introduced extensive changes, to the game system code, which unexpectedly conflicted with the legacy GMS code, spaghetti code. This led to an obscure bug that only triggered under a unique condition and was not detected during our standard quality assurance processes. The issue was not identified until the update went live and the first instances began to appear on live servers until people started taking advantage of it. Then we found out. To explain, after the update, a specific condition appeared in the system code that caused an overflow error. When players unknowingly took certain actions while this condition was active, it created multiple copies of the same item. We conducted a thorough analysis to discover the source of the problem before retrieving the duplicated items. The affected code was revised in full, and additional quality assurance tests were run to prevent this issue from occurring again. The depth of the investigation, along with database level processing required to retrieve all of the duplicated items, took a significant amount of time, which inevitably led to the extended maintenance period. They probably just don't have like enough people to deal with this, you know, small team, more than likely. And I like how they said when players unknowingly took certain actions, right? So definitely putting all of the blame on them, obviously, and not on the people, and be like, you know, you guys are evil. But yeah, I don't know. Like, Potion Pod just causing more issues than one, having this in the game over like many years. Not to say that they should have seen it coming, but like an overflow error, I don't know. That is so like very. It is very niche, but at the same time, probably should have just been checked ahead of time. It's just like, but how do you do that? You know, like, we never really had a problem and an issue with this item, but they introduced a lot of new shit, right? And guess what? It made the old shit go bonkers. It is what it is, right? And this is just the result of it. So, not really surprised there. New stuff comes in, old stuff breaks. Need to fix the old stuff. Game's on fire. So I'm not really too sure how you, like, you know, prevent that in the future from happening. But it's definitely, now that it has, it's something that you really need to keep an eye out and focus on, right? So it really just sucks. I think the compensation for the game being down for so long was inadequate. And I also feel like they're just being a little tone deaf and not reading the room. Like, it's so bad to complain about compensation, but I feel like they can definitely do a better job if they really understand the players and the game and like what's going on currently. Just my opinion, and I feel like I'm gonna probably say that a couple more times reading this memo. But let's continue. Okay. Next thing is Astelle Hyper Burning Max. Oh boy. Another error occurred after the version 260 update, where some players were able to designate Astelle as a Hyper Burning Max character. Right, in the patch notes, it specifically said you were not able to Hyper Burn Max Astelle, yet you were. Although we quickly dealt with the issue, the community raised concerns about fairness. It was pointed out that a few players gained an unfair advantage, that they had not been punished for doing so, and that perhaps all players should be allowed to designate Astelle as a Hyper Burning Max character. Yes, and that's what you should have done, right? It doesn't really make sense to punish the people that did Hyper Burn Astelle. It's easy to say that you should have just read the patch notes, and while you are not wrong, not everybody does read the patch notes. And when they see something and they're like, oh, I can hyper burn, you know, my Astelle, I'm gonna go do that, right? Obviously, people will take advantage of that, knowing that it's not shouldn't be a thing. Other people will do it without knowing that, you know, beforehand. But 100%, once some people are able to do it, regardless of how many people it was, unless you are going to take action against those people and like revert their levels or whatever, God forbid you temporarily ban them for like a week. I don't think you do that. But if you allow people to do something in the first place, it should just be open to everyone in regards to fairness. Some people were able to do it. Everyone now is able to do it, okay? And then you just bite your tongue. It is what it is. You take the L, and you just let everyone be able to do it. We would like to explain what happened and how we came to our decision. After investigating, we discovered that a very small number of players were impacted by this error relative to the total player base. In this particular case, that should not fucking matter. We believe being fair and equitable is important when addressing bugs, but we ultimately decided against expanding Hyperburning Max to all CSL characters because doing so would have gone against the intent of our original design. It doesn't matter. Okay? Keep it a buck. It doesn't matter. You bite your tongue, you take the L, and once it happens, you just allow everybody else to do it. Okay? I've seen some arguments that like, oh, they wouldn't have been able to sell you the battle pass if you were able to hyperburn your Astelle. I think that's actually wrong, and it would have led to maybe more battle passes being bought because you got so many of those EXP coupons, right, the vouchers. People would have bought them and got their Astelles to 250, 260 even faster and just be done off the character because most people were doing it for not playing the actual character, but doing it for the Link skill and the Legion piece, right, at 250. So yeah, again, you have to understand your player base. In regard to potential penalties, we treated this situation as a separate case from the previous item duplication error due to two factors. One, the nature of the error meant that it could be triggered accidentally with no ill intent from players. True. And two, the overall impact to the game was negligible. Also true. Considering this, we decided that it would not be appropriate to punish the players in this instance. That's fine, but if you're going to do that, if you are going to take this stance, you have to just allow everyone to be able to hyperburn max their Astelle. Okay? Bite your tongue, take the L. We're sorry, you know, this wasn't intended, but again, due to fairness, you should have just allowed everyone to be able to hyperburn their Astelle if they so wish to. You did not, and you're getting shit for it. It is what it is. We know there were various suggestions regarding this decision, and there was considerable deliberation internally at the time. We apologize for causing this issue and for the frustration it created due to a lack of sufficient explanation. Not really much there. You know, all they can do is apologize, right? Like, that's it. All they can do, they took the L. All they can do is apologize. Not much else there, right? They're explaining themselves a little bit, but in my opinion, this was definitely the wrong course of action. It's so easy to farm these small W's here and there from Nexon's point of view, yet they choose the path of the L. Let's continue. Challenger World. Okay, Challenger World was one of the key features of this update. To allow more players to participate, we introduced Challenger World systems to Heroic Worlds for the first time. I mean, this was also the very first Challenger World in general, even for interactive. We had Burning World before this, but now it was revamped into Challenger World. However, even though we prepared thoroughly, this was our first time implementing Challenger Heroic Worlds, because nothing like this was in Korea in KMS, and there were shortcomings in processing the unique specifications of Challenger and Heroic Worlds. Several issues arose, including Link skills being unintentionally active, errors in coin shop item setups, and the inability to trade droplet stones. These issues, or these problems and others, both big and small, inconvenienced our players. We have since fixed these issues through maintenance and updates to make sure future Heroic World updates don't repeat the same issues. We carefully reviewed potential oversights during version changes and had internal discussions on how we can improve these moving forward. This experience helped us identify additional key areas of consideration when managing complex world-level systems and applying new content. With these learnings, we strive to provide more stable service in the future. Okay, I don't think there's much to get into with Challenger World. They dropped the ball a little bit because in Korea, there is no reboot anymore. There is no heroic servers. And being able to also implement heroic into things that only interactive would have is a challenge, is a very big challenge, in my opinion. But I think this also just kind of boils down to how much understanding the team has of the game overall, and of the differences between interactive and heroic and how to make things work, right? Which right now doesn't seem like that is too high, and that needs to get better that needs to get better right now, I should say, over time. That needs to get better right now. Like, your understanding of the game, especially of both different versions of the game, needs to be better. Period. Let's continue. Compensation boxes. As the development workload grew, due to the extended maintenances before and after the version 260 update, fatigue set in, leading to human error during the compensation box distribution process. Oh yeah, this was the whole like 10 magpot situation. Regardless of these circumstances, that is no excuse. This mistake should not have occurred. We are reviewing and improving our live fixed procedures to prevent similar issues from being repeated in the future. This basically says that, like, yeah, bruh, we got overworked, you know, like, and we fucked up. And guess what? When you fuck up, what do? Say it with me. That's right. You bite your tongue and you take the L. And if something critical happened, like 10 magpots being redeemed by some players, guess what? Just like Astelle, you give that to everyone else, okay? It's not going to make or break the game. When in the fuck in the world does 10 magpots break the fucking game? It lets people get to 260 faster, so they're able to get to 6 job faster if they're hyper burning, to be able to experience more of your game, right? It allows players to further their Legion progression on some of their characters a little bit faster. Where does it break the fucking game? I can't see it. I must be blind, right? Yet I'm wearing glasses. Over a short period of time, the unplanned compensation box went out to a small number of players. At the time, we considered various responses, including if we should distribute the same rewards to everyone. Yes, you should have. While we understand the potential value of expanding the rewards, we also had to carefully consider the long-term implications for game balance and operational stability. This is bullshit. I'm sorry. Like, 1000% is just bullshit. Which is why we ultimately decided not to proceed with that approach. Nope. There is no long-term implications for game balance. Okay? there is none. Operational stability. Don't know what the fuck that has to do with any of this for compensation boxes. You messed up, bite your tongue, and you give out the rewards that were erroneously given out to everyone else. I understand if this was a huge issue, like oh my god, like 1,000 familiar cards, right? Surely you can't do that and give that out, you know, to everyone else. You would have to do some kind of like a rollback, you know, whatever. But 10 magpots, brother, some EXP coupons, you know, like what, like that is not significantly game breaking. And again, going back to like the challenger world, and what I said comment wise, it's about like understanding your player base, understanding your game, and the systems, functionality in place. And clearly here, I feel like you didn't. I feel like you didn't understand, and you don't understand the scope of your game. And because if you would know that 10 magpots is not a big deal, right? And that's the thing that most people were complaining about, right? Amongst other things, the biggest complaint was the 10 magpots. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. It's not going to make or break anyone's one account, and it should have just been given out to everyone. We have thoroughly discussed this issue internally and take the community's concerns around fairness seriously. Moving forward, we will give greater care and oversight to our compensation plans and distribution processes to ensure that similar instances do not happen again. Sure, but they did, and again, you should have just given it to everyone. Okay? I don't know. I don't know what else I could say about that. But it's just like, again, you have these opportunities, you have these chances, right? It's like going fishing, you know? And like you have these opportunities to get these small W's and be like, yeah, let's fucking go. They did the right thing here, right? And you didn't. You continue to not do the right thing in the eyes of the players. You know, I get it. Like, you know, you might want to, but you have people above you. You have your boss's bosses, you know, their boss, and, you know, it just comes down and they're like, nah. Even though you might want to, they're like, nah, you know, like, and unfortunately, we can't scream at them, and we have to scream at you, you know, because you are putting yourself forward. You know, you are the face of the entity, right? That is Nexon. And who else are we supposed to yell at? It is what it is. Anyways, moving forward, Pottable Badges. In last year's Ride or Die event, we introduced the Chains of Resentment as a limited time item to help reduce the power gap caused by legacy content. Yeah. I didn't like that they were temporary. However, Nexon has shown since then that they are bringing it back, right, with Ride or Die Season 2 and with Philosopher books, and potentially the upcoming Marvel Machine scheduled for mid-August. That's to be seen, though. Although it wasn't a perfect solution, we believe the attempt to reduce the power gap through this approach was generally seen as a step in the right direction by many players. Yes, it was. When bringing back Ride or Die, we attempted to apply a similar philosophy by offering a limited time Pottable badge from existing legacy content. Now you see that now this is where the understanding comes in. Totem and badge, two different things. One significantly increases and affects the overall gameplay, right, which is spawn in the game, and one is just additional damage, right? It's an equip. It's like anything else. It's like your emblem. It's like your face accessory, your helmet. It's just another equipment for extra damage, right? Two different things. However, we overlooked the fact that this item plays a different role than the Frenzy Totem, causing it to be far from what our players expected. Exactly what I just said. While both were introduced with the goal of reducing the power gap for legacy items, the way we implemented the Shackles of Resentment did not align with your expectations, clearly. We should have ensured that we had a deep understanding of player and community sentiments before approaching legacy items, which you don't. However, our process of prior communications, feedback collection, and understanding overall sentiment was inadequate. And I mean, like, whose fault is that, though? Right? We deeply apologize for the confusion and disappointment this has caused, and that's all you can do. All you can is apologize. Like, what do you mean? You know, why does it like you say this, right? And I understand you're taking accountability in some way. But like, you say this, and like, in my mind, it's just like, how do you not understand? Where does it fall through the cracks, like in the chain, right, of communication, that, like, you know, our process of prior communication, our feedback collection, understanding overall sentiment, like, how difficult is it to really understand if you actually, like, played the game and understood what players wanted, you know, and their expectations of you. You're doing a fantastic job when it comes to, like, the Legion block situation. You're bringing it with Ride or Die, Season 1, Season 2, Abyssal Expedition, which is a different event, right? You're doing a great job at the Legion block, but why are you failing to understand, like, the badge? You know, why are you failing to understand, like, even, like, Frenzy Totem and Chains? We don't fucking want limited time shit. You also did this with Dark Maple Mist, right? Back in the winter update with limited time totems. We don't fucking want this. And I don't understand how difficult that is to understand. I get that you might not be able to do everything the way people want exactly, but you can't say that, like, you know, like, your understanding overall sentiment was inadequate, right? Because that, to me, just means that it's going through one ear and coming out the other, like that you aren't, like you're unable to grasp the concept itself, right? Which is extremely disappointing to hear from a player standpoint. Okay, again, you're doing very well in certain other areas like the Legion block, and you need to do better in these other situations. Maybe instead of just doing things, you open up a little bit more about your plans and ideas. You know, it's like, this is what we want to do, right? Do you think is this a good idea? More surveys would be great, you know, because maybe you actually read those, you know, and you're trying to understand the overall sentiment. But yeah, I don't know, like you need just better like information collection, or just like, you know, like other services, maybe like OSRS, where you have like not a leaderboard, you know, but like it's like a page in general about different ideas that we can vote on as a community, and how to, you know, handle certain topics and certain issues in the game that we want to see be improved, right? Let's continue. Recent preemptive bans. To quickly stem the spread of fraudulent activity, we took action by preemptively restricting accounts with even slightly suspicious log data and then investigating further. This approach caused some legitimate players to be affected, like myself, and we apologize for that. Moving forward, we will make improvements to ensure bans are done more carefully, based on thorough investigation and according to clearly defined criteria. Yeah. I'm not too sure. They didn't even say like what the potential like exploits were. Some people were just talking about this and that, and like nothing was actually shown. People were saying something about like the Pottable Badge, the shackles was able to be made permanent, even though I didn't see anything like that. But I was affected by this preemptive ban. Something in my account was seen as suspicious. You know, I have been buying and selling a lot of things from the auction house, like solar fragments, symbols. My friend gave me meso to be able to buy vac pets, and maybe that, you know, that was a large amount of meso, was not RMT, okay? And then maybe that was flagged by my account, you know, as well. Stuff like that, you know, buying and selling stuff for boss splits. You know, you have loot, you sell the loot. I'm usually in charge of that. I have to give people their mesos that they're owed. So when you're dealing with like the auction house, I can definitely see how that's suspicious, right? Me buying like Trickster Wanderer pants for 7 bill clean is definitely suspicious, right? But I'm trying to give my party member his, you know, share of the boss loot, whatever we got. So yeah, I got caught up in this. I ended up missing Ride or Die for the week, unfortunately. It was like 24 hours, but I got my account back, so like it is what it is. Very scary. Very scary to fucking lose your account for no reason. Okay. Moving forward. Repeated emergency maintenances and maintenance schedule changes. The increased frequency of emergency maintenances, announcements of said maintenances being posted too soon, and last-minute schedule changes have caused our players great inconvenience. Yes, it's just annoying, right? I don't care about, like, you know, emergency maintenances and unscheduled. If you have to do it, you have to do it. People make a bit of too much of a big deal about it, in my opinion. But, like, doing a maintenance and then be like, oh, we have to postpone it. That's just really annoying. It's just annoying. You know, shortly before maintenance began, our internal testing revealed unforeseen errors and risks. In order to prevent further issues, we ended up needing to adjust the schedule and extend the maintenance period. We apologize for the inconvenience and confusion that these oversights caused. We will strive to improve our internal processes to minimize the need for emergency maintenances and maintenance extensions. I understand that emergency maintenances and extensions are annoying as much as the next guy. But like you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? Definitely don't make it a habit of just like announcing a maintenance and then be like, oops, sorry, like 2 minutes before, oops, sorry, It's not going to start right now. We'll let you know when it's going to be, right? That's really fucking stupid. Don't do that, please. But I understand the need for unscheduled and especially emergency maintenances. Like, you have to bring the game down in order to address something. Just do it anyways. You know, just do it anyways. Even if you have to, like, wait a little bit longer. You know, I don't know. That's just what I think about it. Just don't make it a habit of canceling an unscheduled maintenance right before the game is supposed to go down. You make players do unwanted things, and that is not good. Management of GMS-exclusive content. GMS includes many pieces of original content, and we plan to continue adding exclusive content for our Maplers to enjoy. That's really good to hear. I like that. Recently, we have seen numerous unverified claims and rumors in the community suggesting that the content produced by Team GMS will lack future support or maintenance. I think this stems from your previous track record. You know, you say now you're now like Team GMS, you know, with INKWELL and everything, and that's great. But your previous, your past, is coming to haunt you essentially, with how you've handled content, Singapore, Malaysia, Monad, stuff like that, having to be removed. Jets, right? The big thing, Jets. Oops, sorry. You know, being removed from the game and lacking support, and obviously these are things that, you know, not as being handled in Korea. So your track record definitely enforces those thoughts. So you can't really blame people, but, you know, obviously people are just saying that, like, oh yeah, you know, it's just gonna be the same. It's just negativity. But if people are like legitimately claiming that, like, yeah, SIA's just fucked, right? Like 100%. Obviously that's just, you know, talking out of pocket, right? But it's just, I don't want to say like warranted negativity, but just based off your track record as a company, right? This is just where it stems from. We promise that the content produced by Team GMS, such as Astelle, will continue to be actively serviced alongside our ongoing development efforts. Okay, so specifically with Astelle, she doesn't have an M2, 3, or 4, and every other class does by now. So you can kind of see like how people are just reacting to that like, oh yeah, Sia's fucked, bro. You know, Arrows might be coming out, IL and stuff like that. You know, Blood Moon Forest maybe in the future. But it just looks fucked because, especially for like new classes like Sia, even like Mo and Lin have M2, M3, M4, but Sia is just kind of left in the dust, you know, and she has nothing, which means that you aren't paying enough attention to even like the brand new content that you've implemented. So it's just going to be like another Jet situation where she's going to be deleted in the future, right? Essentially. It's good to hear you say, you know, that it's going to be actively serviced, right? And you're going to work on it. But it's in very bad taste that, especially with like M3, M4 being a thing, she doesn't have it, right? Like, you should have done better. This should have been foreseen. Like, you should have done better, especially with Sia, to have these things done on time, in time. It is what it is, right? Closing message. The GMS team has been working hard. Damn, this is probably very long. And I appreciate you listening. Thank you. The GMS team has been working hard through nights and weekends to address the issues that have arisen and stabilized the game service. As GMS has continued to grow or continued down its independent path, we've encountered new kinds of issues stemming from incompatibilities with the code base. This has certainly caused instability, but it has also allowed us to clearly see our shortcomings and determine necessary improvements through discussion. Good. I don't think this is going to stop, obviously, anytime soon, but obviously they're extremely aware of just how bad things are. As GMS continues to grow, we are actively building out our team to establish long-term stability Upon reflection, we've had to wonder if simultaneously developing GMS exclusive content alongside our other various efforts was overly ambitious, so they're having doubts. That's common. However, we want to once again reassure the community that we won't back down from this challenge. We understand that meaningful progress takes time, and we remain committed to making steady improvements step by step. While it may take time, we are focused on providing a better, more consistent, and enjoyable experience for all players. Your ongoing interest, support, and feedback through various channels are always a great encouragement to us. And they've also prepared a gift. And I already see what it is, and I don't want to be that guy, but I am going to be that guy, and I'm going to get into it. Okay? As for the closing message, okay, there's a bit more here. Please understand that the purpose of this memo is to summarize the recent key issues and address them transparently. We'll be back to share more of our vision and what you can look forward to in the future, probably via INKWELL note. Everyone, where's INKWELL, bro? Where's INKWELL? Where's INKWELL? This is something to kind of calm people down before, I guess, an INKWELL note. But it's definitely like sounds like an INKWELL note, right? We once again sincerely apologize to all our Maplers who've experienced inconvenience during this process. We truly appreciate your continued passion and support. All the members of Team GMS are devoted to providing a better service for our players. Thank you, Team GMS. And thank you, Team GMS. Yeah, this summer patch has just been abysmal. It's been really bad, just farming a bunch of freaking L's, where you could be getting small W's here and there. But, I don't know. I don't really know, like, what else to say, aside from, like, this gift, which I'll get into in just a second. But, you say here, like, your ongoing interest, support, and feedback through our various channels, great encouragement. That's great. But it's important to be, critical. A lot of people just want to say shit, but I think it's extremely important to be critical of what they're doing and offer various different points of views and opinions. But previously, right, you say, yeah, here that, like your feedback collection, understanding overall sentiment was inadequate, So, like, how am I supposed to feel assured, right, that you are going to be taking things well when you've admitted to everyone just prior to this that you can't seem to do that, that you're unable, you're unable to essentially do that, right? With feedback, and that's a shame. But I hope that's not going to be the case, moving forward. I appreciate, everything that's being done to the game. There's still a lot of, like, really nice things in the game, despite there being so many things wrong with the game. It sucks to have, like, these maintenances and all that stuff, but if it means leading to a better future, then I'm all for it. Okay. As for the gift, I don't want to be that guy, but I am going to be that guy, and this is just very bad. This is just very tone deaf. Okay, Deluxe Sonic coupons, great. More premium AFK EXP for people, but this Petite Luna pet, bro, we have a Vac Pet sale right now. I know not everyone's gonna buy into it, but we've had Vac Pets on sale since the beginning, since version 260, and it's still ongoing right now. Like, if you had a better understanding of your player base, mostly in Chronos and Heroic, and what people want, it's like, instead of a CCPB, instead of a Vac Pet, and I know it's super fucking cringe to be complaining about free gifts, but why not give out Soul Erda, right? Like the coupons and selectors, because people are grinding M3, M4, and, like, we also just had Hexa Stats Sunny Sunday, which this would have been great to have that yesterday or 2 days ago now, right? But, you could have just given out Soul Erda, right? You could give out familiar cards, right? Which people are desperately asking for, right? Feedback, understanding sentiment, right? Familiar cards is something like people are desperately asking for, which you could have also easily given out like 5 to 10, right? A free vac pet is always nice. It's 30 days, right? That's an extra vac pet for people to enjoy and indulge in. Cool, by all means, but it could have been better if you understood your community a little bit more. Okay, again, super cringe to be complaining about free gifts. I will anyways. Okay, sorry about that. But okay, that is the Maple Memo addressing various different issues that we've had over the summer patch. I'm hoping that things will get a little bit better from here. Always hopeful, right? Helplessly optimistic. Always hopeful for a better Maple. But this is obviously not an Inkwell note, and we are waiting for that Inkwell note. Inkwell, where you at, brother? Okay, I know that there has to be an Inkwell note before Maple Fest. You know, there has to be one, and then Maple Fest will be like the future of the game, you know, for the winter update. But there's got you have to answer a bunch of different things. You know, Star Force, where the hell are you know, boss crystal changes, right? Just content releases and just how weird it is compared to other overseas servers, and you know, just being left in the dark and not knowing anything about the future of the game and like the release schedule is very, you know, like we're just very uneasy and anxious, and that's why we're lashing out. So there will be, you know, an Inkwell note coming hopefully very soon, and this Maple Memo, let me know if this was good or bad. I'm kind of in between. All they really did was just apologize over and over and over for not understanding. And I get that. But, like, you just gotta do better. You know? That's it. That's what it just boils down to. You gotta do better. This is just something, like, in between. More transparency is always great, right? Like more from them is always a good thing, regardless of how you look at it, regardless of how you may feel about the information being given. It's always a good thing. But that doesn't mean that people are going to necessarily like it, right? when you tell them things that they essentially already know. So yeah, that was the Maple Memo that just came out today. Let me know what you think about it, anything, down in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next video.